Most of us, unfortunately, are familiar with Fresh and Fit, also known as Stale and Fat. Recently, Myron Gaines of Fresh and Fit hosted his own little Twitter space. For those of you who don't know, a Twitter space is basically like a Discord call, kind of, where people can join and listen and request to speak and then debate. But after this Twitter space was started, it didn't take too long for Tariq Nasheed to arrive. Now, for those of you who do not know who Tariq Nasheed is, he's an American film producer and internet personality. He's best known for his Hidden Colors film series, as well as his documentary and promotion of conspiracy theories on social media. He's notorious for his misogynistic, queerphobic, xenophobic, and often ahistorical commentary on blackness in America. Nasheed was highly vocal about his distrust of the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, so basically this guy, although being a liberal Democrat type person, is also like an insane conspiracy theorist, it sounds like. I actually was going into this thinking we were going to watch Tariq Nasheed just kind of wreck Myron. I thought that Tariq Nasheed was somebody who was kind of agreeable. I did not realize he was nearly as controversial as he is. So this might even get even more spicy, even more fun now. Because now we have Tariq Nasheed, who appears to be an idiot, but he's an idiot on the left, debating Myron Gaines, who's an idiot on the right. I cannot imagine how good this is going to go. And yes, this also features Sneako in it as well. All the Fresh and Fit chuckle fucks team together to break our brain cells down.
He's saying that a white Jewish person ain't really Jewish or white. I'm trying to make sense of it.
He said Jews and whites aren't even genetically the same.
Is that genuinely the first time you've heard about the difference between a Jew and a white person in all the years you yap about race?
Because a lot of Jewish people classify themselves as white.
Yes, to go undercover and to go under the guise of white supremacy.
Like a lot of FB,
Oh God. What? Is Sneako saying there's no such thing as a white Jewish person? What?
Yes, to go undercover and to go under the guise of white supremacy.
Like a lot of like a lot of Nigerians and stuff call themselves black, and y'all have said that they do it to try and subvert blackness.
A lot of them try to pretend to be foundational black American.
Yes.
They do.
Just like the Jews that go undercover and pretend to be white when they're Jewish and they hold allegiance to Israel. Do you not know what that is?
Africans, but
wait, what the fuck? Even like when Jews pretend to be white, but their allegiance is to Israel? Actually, did you know your allegiance to a country is actually irrelevant when it comes to determining your race? Did you know that, Sneako? Did your brain Sneako out of your fucking skull?
Cover and pretend to be white when they're Jewish and they hold allegiance to Israel. Do you not know what that is?
Africans, but a lot of black Africans are still black.
I understand you're black, but don't talk about that for 5 seconds. Do you not understand the difference between the Jewish ethnicity and the white ethnicity?
No, I don't. I swear to God, I don't.
That's genuinely...
He doesn't understand that, or Sneako doesn't seem to understand that obviously there's going to be some ethnic differences. If you're talking about ethnic Jews versus white people, fine, but you're talking now about ethnicity versus race. Ethnicity is specific. Race is a broad categorization. So white is just that. It's white. Now, what that means could be a whole bunch of different genetic variation. So yes, you can very easily be, even if you're ethnically Jewish or something, you can be ethnically Jewish and also be white.
Ethnicity and the white ethnicity.
No, I don't. I swear to God, I don't.
That's genuinely concerning, the fact that you talk about race all day and you've never heard that. That's
He can't say it, Sneako. He can't say it. The Zionists fund the NAACP. They fund all their black organizations. He can't say anything. He'll get fired.
No, I would like to know.
Dude, how do we just start this immediately? Like, he can't even say anything because the Jews are funding him. Is this just like crazy left-wing conspiracy theorist joins neo-Nazi circle?
That's why. Your wife is Jewish. If you know, like, the Jewish person owns Black Lives Matter too.
What?
Like all the foundational things you talk about, the systems of white supremacy, they all go back to Israel.
Stop chimping out, bro. You gotta chill.
Explain. My wife is Jewish. What?
No, he's acting stupid.
Okay, what are you talking about? Y'all just saying anything. You're tapping out and saying anything right now.
Yeah, I didn't say your wife was Jewish, but the first time that you actually heard that there's a difference, the system of white supremacy.
No, because nobody can articulate it.
Yeah, I'm articulating right now, but you keep on interrupting me with
I'm not interrupting you. Please articulate.
All right,
Tariq, let me explain the point, because Tariq talks about race, and like finally he needs to understand that there's a difference.
Right.
Okay, the Jewish supremacists, they go under the guise of white supremacy, so people like you can live under a system of victimhood forever. Jewish supremacy is different than white supremacy.
Why can't you explain it without trolling?
Talk, bro.
He's just trolling. He's trolling.
I'm not trolling, but you're not listening to me without
No, because now you're talking about people like me. I'm asking a legitimate question.
Okay, let me answer.
What's the difference between a Jewish white supremacist and an Anglo white supremacist?
They're completely different ethnicity.
How so?
Jewish people are the chosen people that goes back thousands of years. It comes from the book. They come from one tribe of people. They're not white.
So what makes a person white genetically?
It comes from the Caucasus regions, the European people. Jewish people are a diaspora that have moved around. They've been kicked out.
So he's doing like race realism almost? You're not white unless you can trace your genes back to... Now, white is a category, dude. We're only 3 minutes in and this is already literal torture. I fucking hate this.
Of 109 countries, and they travel around the world. They all go back to the same lineage. That's why they only interact with each other. That's why they only work with each other. And that's why they subvert people like you to think that there's a system of white supremacy.
So what's the difference between Jewish supremacy and white supremacy?
I just explained they're not the same.
There's a big
difference. That's like asking me the difference between Chinese and Japanese. They're different people.
So there were.
You can talk shit about white people all you want, Tariq. Start talking shit about Zionists, they'll shut your ass down.
Trolling.
That's not trolling. That's what the
during
truth
slavery.
Most Jewish Americans identify as white. Jews of no religion, 90%. Jews by religion, 92%. So the net Jewish percentage would be 92%. The majority of US Jews identify as white. He's literally giving like this bizarre niche definition of white, trying to make it an ethnicity, even though it's a racial category, to then exclude a bunch of people from that white category, even though it is just that, a category.
He thinks it's trolling.
You can call white people devils if you call Jews well, that's not something I think everybody should admit. That shouldn't be something that anyone argues. You can call white people devils all day and no one says a word. Call Jews devil. For as much as Nick Cannon has said about white people, he's never, ever, ever had to sit down and learn about white people after he said it and apologize to white people after he said it. You can say.
So I agree that there's sometimes this cringy double standard, especially on the left, where shitting on white people for being white is completely okay, but then shitting on any other racial group or ethnicity or anything else is like heavily off limits, and it gets you canceled more or less. There is sometimes an issue with this, but also the reason that issue exists, you need to understand the nuance. The fact of the matter is that Jews make a very, very tiny percentage of the overall population. So when you spread a bunch of bullshit about Jews, you are way more likely to convince a few people that this might be the case, because not everybody in America has been exposed to just a regular Jewish person who's their friend or their neighbor or something. Not everybody has had this experience, therefore it makes it easier for negative ideas, such as Jews control the world and are trying to subvert the white man, to take hold, to become far more popular and compelling, because people don't have a basic personal experience to weigh this information against. So there absolutely is a potential risk there when you're talking about making jokes and shitting on minorities versus making jokes and shitting on white people. I don't think it's right to shit on white people. I would not shit on white people for being white. However, there is a difference on the likelihood of harm and impact from that speech.
Say what you want about whites after he said it and apologize to white people after he said it. You can say what you want about whites.
Right, and Zionists are the ones that go and say white devil all the time. They go on and say that there's a white
that's not a refutable fact, right? You can't. I agree with that, right, Tommy? But to me, they all anti-black the same. When it comes to my black ass, they're going to handle me the same.
Well, I just wish that sometimes conversations were had where they were being honest. Whenever people won't be honest about something that is an actual fact, like a person who knows and just did a movie about hip hop, knows that these black people are able to call white people devils and black people niggas, but every time they kind of tried to refer to Jews, they beeped it.
Exactly.
Jews and white people oppress black folks. That's a fact.
No, not white people. Let me explain. Tariq, you did a whole movie about hip hop. Do you know who all the hip hop executives are?
Jewish people.
Exactly. Jewish people are not white people. They do that to spread degeneracy throughout the black community.
They do this to spread degeneracy? You know, you can look historically as to why there are disproportionate amounts of Jews in certain industries. Hollywood, for example, which has a lot of overlap with the music industry, was originally founded by Jews. Thomas Edison, when he created the video camera, or at least helped to commercialize it, was incredibly anti-Semitic. He did not want Jews to use the video camera. So because of this, Jews migrated to California, where they then start Hollywood. And the reason he didn't want them to use the video camera is because he believed that they would spread their Jewish filth, which is exactly what Sneako is saying right here. That Jews somehow have taken over the music industry, and now they're lying about being white to try and push degeneracy. This is ludicrous.
The black community. People. Exactly. Jewish people are not white people. They do that to spread degeneracy throughout the black community, to make you think it's okay to be thugs, to prop up sexy red.
No, so it's reversed. No, it's reversed.
What the fuck? See, a bunch of conservatives are obsessed with this sexy red person who I've literally only heard of because conservatives are constantly crying about her. And it's just some like rap artist who's really like inappropriate and skimpy or whatever. Like, okay, that's been the music industry for a long ass time, my friend. Do you really think the fact that sex sells is somehow a Jewish thing? Really? Of course it's not, you fucking idiot. Everybody knows that sexual stuff is oftentimes used in marketing. It's cheap. A lot of people roll their eyes at it. A lot of people know that now it's just cringy objectification or whatever. But a lot of the times that still sells. That still works. Now, we can talk about there being flaws there, obviously, with the objectification of women being a lucrative market in capitalism and things like this, fine. But that's not what he's talking about. He's literally trying to blame Jews for there being sexual music artists. I mean, is he aware that way, way back, like that song, Lollipop, Lollipop, is actually a sexual song? Were the Jews responsible for that one too? There are even books in the Bible, the Book of Solomon, that are sort of like songs talking about sexual things with their wife and shit. That's even in the Bible. So no, don't come over here and start telling me that Jews somehow introduced sexual behavior into the media. You're lying to yourself, just like when you tell yourself that your father loves you.
Like thugs to prop up sexy red.
No, so it's reversed. No, it's reversed.
You don't know the difference between Jews and whites, and you just did something about
the reason why Jews and white people get lumped together is because black folks are not in position. Black folks ain't in position to delineate when it comes to oppression of black folks. White folks and Jewish people work together collectively to oppress black folks. That's a fact.
So why don't blacks and tethers work together to uplift blacks?
Because most of those...
So here's the big question for people like this, right? If you're going to say that like some white people or certain industries or systems run by white people still results in a kind of discrimination against black people, that's fine. But if you're going to then say Jews also, you're going to need to give me a little more than that. So for example, we've had conversations about white supremacy or subconscious bias and things like this. There's a bit of an understanding why some people might subconsciously still be racist, even though they don't realize it. But if you're talking about Jews wanting to subvert the white man and spread degeneracy, where is it in their religious text that justifies that? See, to me, this is no different than saying, look, a Christian built a hospital, therefore Christianity inspired him to build a hospital. No. Maybe they're just a Christian who happened to do this thing. Maybe these are just Jews who happen to be in these positions of power. Where is the motivation? Where is the Jewish motivation to subdue the white man or introduce degeneracy or anything like this? Where is the actual motivation? There is none. There's nothing there. I can actually point you to justification within Judaism that heavily encourages literacy, which is another reason why Jews have consistently been more successful, because they have a culture and a religion that heavily encourages literacy. So that encourages people to learn, to obtain knowledge, to learn new skills, and of course, be more successful in a world where the majority of people aren't literate.
Says that in their book. That's what Ben Shapiro shows allegiance to, not white people. not anti-black.
No, it's white
Ben
supremacy.
Shapiro shows allegiance to Israel. That's why he wants Netanyahu to be the president of the United States. He shows his allegiance to
anti-black racism. It's anti-black racism which shows his allegiance.
Okay, you know what?
There are also a lot of white U.S. Christians who also have undying allegiance to Israel because they think that Israel is God's chosen special hangout and they have to protect it at all costs. And that's why America must aid Israel in their fight. I would be willing to bet that if like any Jewish person who had any kind of influence on the decision to fund Israel, if they were all removed, the decision would still roll along just the same. Because white evangelical Christians have an undying love and commitment towards Israel.
Jewish supremacy.
There is no Jewish supremacy. It's only white supremacy.
Hold on. Let me just.
Oh my God.
Okay. And I'm gonna tell you why. Hold on. Let me tell you why.
Okay, if there's Jewish supremacy, how come the black Jews don't have no supremacy?
There's no such thing as a black Jew. You Israel.
Oh my God! Really?
There's no such thing as a black Jew.
Really?
What?
No.
What?
No, there's no.
So there's no such thing as a black Jew, but now there's also no such thing as a white Jew? Well, are they all gray, Sneako? What? Sneako needs to log off Twitter and go and just log on to fucking Sesame Street.
No such thing.
Let me explain.
They don't accept black Jews. No Jew thinks a black is a Jew. Read the Talmud. They have specific ethnicity.
Sneako is a product of the United States education system. Y'all gotta stop.
Wait a minute.
Y'all get letting these white fragile men really indoctrinate y'all.
Jacasa, let me just explain the difference.
Wait a minute. He said there was no such thing.
Bruh. Ethiopian Jews started coming to Israel in the late 1970s. As a result of efforts by Ethiopian Jews, the US, Israel, several other countries, and activists around the world, many more managed to leave over the next 2 decades.
So you're saying, okay, no. They'll say that in like sound.
There are black people, there are black Jews talking about white supremacy in Israel. So what are you talking about?
No Zionist believes that blacks are really even Jews.
Sir, you have Ethiopian Jews going to Israel complaining.
He's using Zionist and Jew interchangeably again. This is so embarrassing for Sneako. The majority of Ethiopian Jews are Israeli Jews now. The Jewish state airlifted the vast majority of the community, and they've become an integral part of Israeli society. Even based on Sneako's super rigid and niche little definition that in order to be a real Jew, you must actually be a Zionist, dedicated to Israel, or living in Israel, even from that really specific definition, there were black Jews. Congrats, Sneako. Damn, even from your bizarre and stupid definition and trying to classify all Jews as Zionists, even with your failed attempt at that, even if we were to use your retardation, you're still wrong.